If you've been following me on Snapchat over the past probably month or so, you'll know that I did a reread of Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and oh my gosh, it still resonated with me. If you were watching my Snap story, you'll know that I did something a little bit drastic. I defaced Queen of Shadows. Queen of Shadows is literally like my third favorite book in the entire universe. This book, like, watch my review of it because I think I do a pretty good job of describing how amazing it is. I loved it so much, and I've been anticipating the next book in the series, which is Empire Storms, that I decided I needed to go a little crazy. And it started out very simple. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tab it. Lots of tabs are good in a book. And so I'm gonna tab it, and then I'll come to Sarah signing, and she'll be like,
oh my gosh, Jenna, what are all the tabs? Why are you tabbing so much?
And I'll be like, well, Sarah. And then it took a turn for the worst after that. What if I actually wrote in this book instead of just tabbing it? Because tabbing's good, but like, most people who read it will not understand why I tabbed the book, so I need to explain, because clearly other people will be reading this copy of my book. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna underline. So I underlined down here. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write in it. So I wrote in it. And literally it was terrifying and beautiful all at the same time. I defaced Queen of Shadows, and some of you want to know how and why I did it, so here we are. So the reason I did this, partially I've seen people do this on Tumblr, and I was like, I want this for myself. I want an annotated book. I want it to look beautiful. I want like an art project in a book, and clearly Queen of Shadows was the one to do, because it's like my third favorite book of all time. And I was just starting my reread, so I figured it was the only book I could do it for that I'm rereading, that I really love, that I could actually accurately tab it. This is the page I'm most proud of. I drew a piano on there. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I was like, that's great, but I want to do more to this book, and so I did this. No, that's not it, Jenna. That's not it. Literally, I did this. Both sides. Just enjoy. Okay. I actually got a comment a couple days ago and people were like, how do you do it, Jenna? I want to do it. And so I'm telling you how to do it. I think I'm actually going to do this with Court of Mist and Fury once I'm rereading it. I'm saving it for after Empire Storms because I'm gonna need something when I finish that book, so I'm saving it. With this, after I made the first underline, I was kind of like, well, that's it. I ruined this book. Let's just keep going and figure it out. And it all started with tabbing. So let's talk about the tabs because I feel like you want them to be explained and I should explain them. I had a problem where I used up most of the same color tabs once it gets to a certain point. And so I had to start using new colors of tabs, and so the first half makes sense. The second half, I honestly don't know what it means. But the intent at the beginning, the green tabs are basically like funny moments that I was like, this is hilarious, like fire-breathing bitch queen. Or there's one of my favorites. Aelin is like, run you hulking ass, and it's so funny. I love it. And then if you go on to purple is like meaningful character moments, I think is what I ended up going with. And it's like quotes, kind of. The pink ones are like literally quotes that I would quote like out of context of this story, kind of. But purple and pink are very, very similar, so I really don't have much of a difference between them. Like this purple one is from a nun and it says, bastard! Most men, she decided, were bastards of varying degrees. Most of them were monsters. And so that is that. But the difference between that and like say my first pink one, when I had the intention is, but she was her own champion now and she would not add another name of her beloved dead to her flesh. Which, I don't know. Don't listen to me. That's just kind of my thought process at the beginning. And then my favorite part, the blue tabs and some of the yellow ones down here. They're all foreshadowing, whether it's foreshadowing to things that I think will happen in the future with like theories, or just like actual things that foreshadowed in this book. I have a couple of those. But there are some things that I was just like, I really want to know if this pops up in the future, and I want it tabbed, you know, for future reference, to make theories, to think about the end of the series. And so I have a bunch of those where it's just like, this could be a huge thing. Or it could just be me being like, wow, Ansel is mentioned once. She didn't show up ever again. Like, that could totally happen, but we'll see. That's like the main part. And then you get like these tabs mark where I ran out of the original colors. So I was like, yeah, like, I guess yellow is foreshadowing? Honestly, don't even know, because after that I like really ran out of tabs, and so I found post-it notes and I ripped the post-it notes and put them in there. You really can come up with your own system for tabbing. Like if you tabbed in high school, because I know many people like myself did that, you can kind of go off of that, I think. But yeah, just kind of like tab it. That's the starting point. I tabbed it as I went, and I guess if you want, you could write while you go, because that might be helpful. But I basically just like sat down the night after I finished rereading it and was like, huh, let's write. And so I like went back and kind of reread it, like skim, go through my tabs type of thing. It's really on you, being artistic and being smart. Like I drew a picture of water for this funny moment. I realize now there might be some spoilers in this video. I'm not sorry. I start by like underlining the parts that I tabbed. You can kind of do whatever you want. Like for some of my foreshadowing things, I have like little things on the side with like question marks of like, oh, maybe that'll be important. Or like I write out like bigger phrases that were in the text, you know? So I can be like, this is the part that I really liked out of this. There are some other ones, like I said, that are a little more artistic than others, like the piano page. I tried real hard on this, guys, so hard. Like I drew a piano, I drew music notes, and like, oh, it's just so pretty, music. Some like this, OTP pages, you know, it just kind of like depends on your artistic status and style and like what you want to do. I really want to get to the point where I can just mark up the entire book, but there's just so much that I'm like, I don't really need to mark up all of this. I really want to highlight it. Like that was one of the problems I had, is that I couldn't find a highlighter when I was starting, so I was like, well, we're just gonna draw. It's fine. Whitney from Witty Novels does a good job of journaling, so if you want like ideas for fonts or like artistic things, Witty Novels, check her out. There was literally a Hamilton reference, and I Hamilton. The next thing that I did was I worked on the end pages. Now, this, I don't know if you know me very well, but like I do this a lot. If I'm bored in class, I will literally just write out lyrics and try and fit it in a small space. If you watched my Taylor Swift lyric t-shirt video, I literally do that on shirts all the time for concerts. So this is kind of my thing. It's my style. I'm very used to it and good at it. A lot of these songs are songs that were on Sarah J. Maas's like Queen of Shadows playlist, because she has that, but many of them are also songs that I think really apply to Aylin or Queen of Shadows in general. And so I just kind of like took those songs and I used a Sharpie, fine tip Sharpie, and I just kind of wrote. And so I kind of like made bigger the things that I thought were more important or that were really cool. So we have Dorian, Carry On, good times. Lionhearted, Let's Go for Blood, Blood on the Leaves, Holy Water, Salute. I start many different ways. Sometimes I start in the middle of the page and I go outward, kind of like some like this one, start at the middle and work out. Some of them I like kind of start on one side and then I like loop around and go down and stuff like that. Some of them I start in the top corner and then I go all the way down. Sometimes I make bad decisions and I start at the bottom and I have to go back up. It kind of depends. It's really frustrating as a lefty to have to deal with it, but I did. I made my way through it. The key is small text. That's really it. It looks like a lot, but it's actually not that much work. I would love to be comfortable enough to be able to draw on the front in silver Sharpie and do a similar thing on the like of this on the front, but I keep thinking about my books naked and I want them all to look the same, so I don't think it's gonna happen for this. That's basically it. That is everything. You can really make it your own if you want to deface a book. You can buy like a separate copy to deface. You can deface the one. I know in Booktube we have this thing where we want all our books to be pristine and nice, and I totally understand that because that is 100% me. But it's also super freeing and fun to do this, especially if you're an artist. If you're not an artist, I can totally understand not wanting to do it. But if you're an artist, or like me, I'm a half-assed artist, I can kind of be artsy, but not all the time. Perfect project. Also, it's something that you can take to an author and be like, look at what I made out of your book. It's so pretty. And I haven't had this happen yet because I haven't seen Sarah, but hopefully in September I'll show her. Hopefully she'll be impressed. That's the goal here. I don't know. It was just something fun that I wanted to do, and you guys wanted to know about it, so that's that. If you do end up making one of these, let me know. Leave a link down below so I can look at it, because it's very fun and very beautiful, and I would love to see that. Go forth and deface all the books. Ah!